Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and today I'm doing a pretty small job. I'm doing this family room and a set of stairs, and they only really wanted the steps done, but they wanted to get up to the minimum charge, because if they just did the steps, it would have been about $80 or $90, I guess. So they wanted to get this family room done as well, which is just over $200 by the square foot. But I just wanted to show you a little the view I've got today. Okanagan Lake, city of Kelowna over there, and the bridge is over there. And over here we have West Kelowna, and the Okanagan Lake goes all the way south there to Penticton, all the way north up there to Vernon. It's about 90 miles long, I guess. A pretty big lake. This is a very high-end house up here on the hillside, and this carpet is about 15 months old. I asked the owner that they did have this house custom built, and they spared no expense, as you can see. And what we have here is, this is a wool berber. So I'm going to clean it, and I just want to talk about, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about cleaning wool. Now, we don't run into the wool carpeting all that much, because it is generally a wall-to-wall carpet anyway, pretty darn expensive. So you typically only find it in the higher end kind of houses, where people are not looking for a economical choice, but rather are looking for an aesthetic, or they have different reasons for choosing the wool. But anyway, as carpet cleaners, when we run into wool carpeting, we need to understand that wool is not a synthetic fiber. Wool is an animal hair, and when you're cleaning wool, you do want to make sure that you're using a product that is wool safe. Now, I'm using Nanomax in my tank, and it's mixed at 2 ounces per gallon. Nanomax is a neutral pH. It is a wool safe product, so I don't have any concerns about using it on this wool. What is a concern is there are a few different YouTube channels, and sometimes comments come up on videos where somebody will say you can use wool, or pardon me, you can use things like ammonia or even peroxide on wool. And if you're a new carpet cleaner and you're not sure about cleaning wool, one thing you need to understand is putting either ammonia or peroxide on wool will cause it damage in most cases. Now, the thing you need to bear in mind when it comes to the wool fiber is that wool is an animal hair. And you think about it, would you wash your hair with ammonia or peroxide? The damage that occurs isn't instantaneous, but will happen over a period of time. And what happens is that the ammonia, which is a pH of about 11, and is way over the pH that is safe for wool, what it does is actually breaks down the protein bonds that are holding the animal hair together. I can't remember the name of what exactly they call that, but basically wool is it's grown, obviously. It was once living, and the ammonia will break it down. And if there's color, like if you're doing a wool area rug and there's dyes on the wool area rug, then the ammonia can cause the colors to run. Now this carpet isn't dyed, but it can still, the ammonia would actually break down the, deteriorate the wool fiber, and what'll happen is it'll dry out, and it'll start to, literally, as you walk on it, or as it gets vacuumed, it'll start shedding like crazy, because the wool fiber is basically disintegrating over time. Peroxide, of course, can bleach out the wool. It's too aggressive for the wool. It can take the color out. In some cases, you can use weak peroxide if you're dealing with a color stain, but you need to understand exactly what you're doing when you're doing that sort of a thing. But generally speaking, if you've got a product that has peroxide in it, or if you're the type that would mix up your own concoctions, bathtub chemistry, and you start spraying and applying either ammonia and or peroxide, or industrial degreasers for that matter, onto a wool carpet, you will cause damage. And you know, you can end up causing such significant damage that it becomes very obvious quickly, and next thing you know, you've got a lawsuit on your hands, and you know, you could be liable for replacing a carpet worth tens of thousands of dollars. So my point is, don't use ammonia to clean wool, or peroxide, or for that matter, these industrial degreasers. What's that one some guys are using? It's a ZEP product. Not even meant for carpeting, for crying out loud. But anyway, don't do that. Don't cause yourself a headache. You don't need to do. There's no reason to use ammonia or peroxide on wool anyway. It usually cleans up very well when you understand what you're, doing. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm actually using a two-way pad here, and I chose the two-way pad because this carpet is only 15 months old. There's no visible soil on it at all. There's not a single stain that's visible, and so basically it's getting I guess you could say, a pretty light cleaning. And the two ways have the least friction, and so if I can, I will use the two-way in these circumstances. So it's not that I'm really concerned about friction really on this carpet, but the wool yarn, it does have a fuzz on it, because that fuzz is actually the actual hair of the animal, the wool, which is about the diameter of a human hair. And so they take those follicles of hair and they twist them together into a yarn. But because it's a not a continuous filament, of course, so there's all kinds of little broken ends, or ends of the filaments, the hairs that are sticking out. You get that fuzzy effect on the wool, and you want to be careful when it comes to agitation on a wool, because you can easily and quickly frizz the wool. So you want to be very aware of that, and that's one reason why I definitely prefer not to use an OP on wool, because the agitation, the back and forth rapid movement on a wool can cause a felting effect. And whereas the rotary, because it is a continuous motion, is far less likely to do that. You can do that, but you notice I keep the machine moving, and that's the key. So, I'm done. I'm going to stop. We'll take a look at the pad and see if I actually picked anything up. A little bit. I didn't really expect to see much on here, but there is a little bit there. This is what it looked like on the edge here. So, yeah. And I probably will run the vacuum over there because I can see the, you can see where the machine has moved the filaments, actually. A little bit left, a little bit right. So, but it'll, of course, as it moves one way, it'll lean the yarn a bit and lean the yarn the other way. So you get a sort of a light and a dark pattern. So before I'm done, I'll run my hush tone over the carpet. Okay, so I'm done with this, and I'll go and do the steps now. So anyway, I thought that might be a helpful, perhaps even interesting little video for you guys. So have a good day.